Sure. Also, that. So. Said. 20% there. The rule. Well. So much emphasis. And but it's like reverse. She goes to that. You should see where the city comes. Next time, well, they asked it. Nobody's kidding. Yeah. Well, I think first, yeah. Well, yeah. Also, they oh, so so fine. Really?
Oh. About the fresh. How did you clean it out? I know. First of all,
Well.
right, right. So different. Scott. Was very lunch ago. And. Yes. So a lot of what they said, oh, yeah. How many? Yeah. Labor intensive now. So supposed to be fun. Yes. Not yet. I just got my physically about that. Yeah. It's my order. So it's not in my back. And to those, I can send for the. Give me one. Yeah, starting to. 22. Reports on. So my first one was 14. I don't have a solution. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this one. The job.
Okay.
I don't want it. So do you enjoy? I did see a house for sale with that. But. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Oh. Right. Chris, mine was spring. Okay, I wanted to buy someone else for picture, so it's it. Or to get off, like there. It's not, it's brilliant. So I got a black one.
Yeah. Oh, we're speaking. Speaking 6:30.
So. My experience with them. First phrase again.
I have a question. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh my God. What's the? Yeah.
I went out the other day. Case order. So what I was, thought they were getting ready to. So that was really fun. There's a guard. So there. And I brought a little box out of this. But the inside of my box, they look terrible. And then there's a good that and a shell.
Well, yeah, those are,
That for all.
no, those are, small high beetle larvae.
Okay. It was best for my beavers. And then I had a bunch of fruit. Like,
That,
yeah.
what was your mic count? So this time of year is when the lights are the hardest hitting to them. So they might have, if the my load gets too high, then they can, it's gone.
Yeah. What I did is I put all my company and put it in the new box. But I guess with them as well, it's just you know, it was already on.
Yeah, well, the small high beetles, those you get the larva hatch out.
Man, it's terrible. No.
Did everyone get signed in? He'll be here in 6 minutes.
6
And
minutes.
he'll be able to email you my presentation. So if you want to start preschool, we can.
Okay. I guess we'll kind of get started. Our speakers, I guess he got stuck in traffic or something. Let's see, for announcements, TBA's having their B school October 15th and 16th. And the Thursday before, they also have an extra, what they call it, Thursday presentations. They have two of them. One's like a basic B school, and they also have a queen rearing program that Dr. Rangel's doing. I've heard Dr. Rangel. I know some people that went to Dr. Rangel and Sue Kobe's class.
Why?
That's because it is fine. Dr. Rangel is she's supposed to be really good. So if anybody's interested in the queen rearing class, that one should be pretty good. I think it's 175. And the other Thursday one's like $85. And then if you want to do the Saturday and Sunday conference where they have classes all day, I think it was 155 if you're a TBA member. It's in Austin this year. They move around the state every year, but this year it's in Austin. October 15th and 16th. Oh, it's October. Okay, November. You still got time to register. Sorry. What else was there? Oh yeah, the state fair is going to look for volunteers. If you want looking for volunteer hours for your master beekeeper program, she's going to put it on the website. So if you want to check the website in a couple of days, it should be on there. If you're interested in the state volunteering at the state fair, then we have our other volunteer opportunities throughout the year. So we'll have the rodeo next year. If you want to, that's a good way to get hours. We're looking for a VP because I'm up this year. I have to go find a new job. So if anybody wants to be VP, come talk to me. It's a pretty easy job most of the time. It's just the main part of it's just arranging speakers, so it's not too terrible. And then we'll also have the random opportunities. Somebody was asking the other day on the Facebook page for to go talk to a group of school kids around here. So we're gonna probably post that on the website or send that out if people are interested in volunteering for that kind of thing. Also, we're waiting to hear if we got the Texas Honeybee Education Association grant for a youth program. We applied for a $2,000 grant with them. So if we get that, we might do some more youth stuff. So I think that's it. For B school this month. So this time of year, you should have already done your mite treatments. Hopefully your mite levels in your hives are up low. This is the time of year when they get hit the hardest by mites. So the population in your beehives, unless you've been feeding them a lot over summertime, this is about as low as it's going to get. So your bee to varroa ratio goes the other way. So your varroa population doesn't change and your bee population drops. So you end up with a lot more varroa mites per 100 bees. So if you haven't done that, I would highly recommend you do some kind of treatment or counting to see what your mite levels are and then treat them if needed. It's not too late if they're still alive. And then, so goldenrod will start probably blooming towards the end of next month. If you're in an area that has goldenrod. So unless you're in like downtown Houston, you probably have goldenrod somewhere around. It grows in like random fields. If you've never seen it before, usually it's about 6 foot tall. It's kind of an ugly plant until it blooms. And then the very top foot or so will turn like bright gold. It's real small, tiny flowers. That's excellent pollen source, a nectar source for bees. Some people like to collect the honey and I think it's great. I think it tastes like dirty socks. It smells like it too, so I don't collect it. I just leave it on my beehives. They can keep that, that's for them for the winter time. But if you want to collect it, you can. If they're, the goldenrod crop around here is very hit or miss. So some years it's too wet or it's too cold for the bees to get out and collect it. And some years, like last year was great. My whole bee yard stoked and I went there in October, late October, because all I could smell was goldenrod honey. But like last year, I think they all made about a super and a half goldenrod honey. But the years before that, I've had them where they haven't made any. So for the next probably 2 or 3 months, you should keep an eye on your beehives and check the weight on them and make sure they're getting enough storage for, you know, our winter that happens in December and January, maybe February if we're lucky. But it's actually what you're really trying to do is make sure they have enough honey to get to March and April. So that's around here. That's when our bees start. It's March and April. Usually they'll make it all the way through February. Sometimes you can catch them in February if they've eaten all their honey and feed them up through March and April and get them to the real flow. But it's better if they get to March and April when they're all well fed. Well fed bees always are going to be healthier. They're going to do better. They're more disease resistant, mite resistant. So the healthier you can keep your bees. The other thing you might want to check this time of year. So down here in Southeast Texas, we don't make a lot of nectar this time of year, but they make a lot of pollen. So if you have a little bit older hives, sometimes your frames will get completely clogged with pollen. So if you have like 3 or 4 frames on a single that are all full of pollen, they can't do nothing else with them, they're not going to eat that. Some people like to pull those frames, put them in the freezer, and save them for when they do splits next year. We'll put empty frames in there that the bees can actually use. So that's something to keep an eye on. And so unless you're trying to make, if you're trying to make a goldenrod crop this year to actually harvest, you may consider feeding your bees right now to build up the population a little bit so where they can harvest more during goldenrod. If you're not worried about collecting goldenrod, it's up to you whether you want to feed. But collect, the more, you know, bees collect honey, it's not a linear thing. So, you know, 10,000 bees collect so much honey, 20,000 bees is not double the amount of honey. It's like 2.2, and then 30,000 is, you know, 3.5 times as much or something like that. It's kind of, we call it exponential amount of honey. So
There's a gold, there's some of these crystallized that you get some.
you know, I haven't really ever known, I never really harvested goldenrod, so I don't know if it crystallizes or not really. Tallow honey that they make in the springtime is it crystallizes very easy. But usually I have to change whatever honey, right after I harvest, when I put the honey out in stores, if it hasn't sold in a month, I have to swap it out for non-crystallized honey because it's half the bottle's crystallized and nobody wants to buy crystallized honey unless you do the whole bottle and make cooked honey. Anybody have any beekeeper questions while we're waiting on our speaker? He must have got stuck in traffic. So
Can you explain the pollen thing? So they don't put the pollen, so you can freeze it, and you said eat up the pollen later.
yeah, so if you have a hive that has way too much pollen in it, there's no way they're going to eat that over the winter time. If you want to pull a couple of those frames out, put them in the freezer. If you don't freeze them, they'll get small hive beetle and all kinds of nasty stuff on it. So freeze it for a couple of days. You can leave it in the freezer the whole winter if you have space, or you can freeze it and pull it out and wrap it up so it doesn't get anything on it. And then if you have hives later that need pollen, you can feed it to them. And then if you're doing splits in spring, instead of having to pull pollen from another hive you're splitting from, you can just use that pollen.
Okay.
You have to thaw it out and see it frozen.
Huh?
Just put it in frozen.
You can put it in frozen, it'll be fine. It'll defrost in the hive, but if you want to defrost it ahead of time, you
I've
can.
got one of the hives and underneath it, it's a lot of pollen underneath it.
Yeah, so they're collecting so much pollen all year long in Southeast Texas that's just the stuff that's falling off their legs while they're going in.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just yellow.
Yeah.
So here's one of them.
Yeah, so sometimes they collect way too much pollen. And then depending on your bee breed, some are more collect more pollen than others.
So pretty much just for the babies, they need that protein. Or-
No, so all the bees eat pollen all year. Everyone except the queen eats pollen all year long.
Oh, okay.
That's so that they get all their protein through pollen. That's the only protein source they get. That's why it's good to have such a mix of pollens. Like when you do beekeepers that do nothing but like crops where they get all almond pollen for 2 months. It's not really healthy for the bees if they don't have other access to other pollen, because it doesn't, that one type of pollen won't have all the nutrients they need. Whereas if they get a whole bunch of different kinds of pollen, they'll get all
Doesn't much have to feed them to get them.
Well, like almonds is usually only a month and a half, about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks is the bloom season for almonds. So if you send a hive with a frame of pollen in it, they have enough variety. And then when they come back, if you put them, as long as you don't put them on another monocrop, they'll collect what they need. And like bees, when they're starving in the summertime, other places, not Texas, but in other places, they'll start collecting like corn dust. I see people on Facebook all the time posting, I left, I put out my chicken feed for my chickens and the bees got all over it because they don't have the pollen, so they're collecting the dust, the corn dust. And they'll collect like the wind. They normally don't collect wind blown pollen like from corn or anything that's wind pollinated because it doesn't have much protein in it. But if they're starving, they'll collect whatever they can get. Just like they'll go to the Walmart dumpster and get all kinds of weird stuff. You pull your frame out, it's got purple honey in it or green honey or because they got into a bottle of Fanta or something.
Do we have I don't know, a source, a website or whatever to tell us, a honey flow or flowers here?
So we have, I don't think we actually have that on our website. Maybe we need to put that on there. There's a NASA website you go to that has it'll tell you all the, like what blooms in that area. I can send that link out, but it'll tell you what blooms in that area. It'll also go through like all the crops. So like if you have cotton near you or watermelons or whatever, it'll tell you when farmers typically that blooms for farmers in that area. It's pretty cool. We had a speaker maybe like a couple of years ago talk about it. It was what's that guy's name? It was right when I took over. So that would have been like January of 21. It's on the YouTube site. I think it's January 21, something like that. It was a Zoom meeting. He graduated from Texas B Lab, but he was doing something in like Alabama, working for the USDA. And but he talked about that NASA website that lists all the pollen when everything blooms. If it's a good source or not, it's a pretty good website. I don't think it's ever been updated since I came out with it, but
Do you have snow on the prairie or snow on the mountain?
what's that?
Snow on the mountain, snow on the prairie out.
Down here, we really don't, you don't ever have to worry about that. So they have that, that's around Austin, Hill Country area. I think it's snow on the mountain, I don't think does anything. If the snow on the prairie, it'll make your honey give a weird tingly taste or something like that. Yeah. I know a lot of Austin beekeepers, when I talk to them, they pull their honey before that blooms, so it doesn't taste weird. Which one's the email? What email? Okay. I don't know, let me pull up the presentation on this one.
While we're setting up the slideshow, present our speaker. Our guest speaker this month is Dr. Garrett Slater. He is our brand new for the whole state of Texas, our ag extension specialist in all things honeybees related to pollinators. He actually just spent earlier this afternoon speaking with the Harris County Ag Extension Office. We're doing Urban Rancher series right now, so he was doing a beginning bee biology, beginning bee earlier. So as he gets set up, he's going to, I think our program is going to be talking about projects coming up and his programs and all of his exciting new projects because we've never had a specialist in our cities in Texas. So I'm sorry.
Email to,
Yeah, my email, not super fast.
no worries. What's up, how's everybody doing? So how many people here are first year beekeepers? First year? How many people haven't had calls yet?
Okay, so everybody else has 20 years of experience, right? 30 years? Okay, all in this area?
Here.
Okay,
Here.
most productive, okay.
Nothing like. Chinese town.
It'd be so much money. It's crazy, yeah,
And it sells really well and sells well.
yeah. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it up. We've been, we're releasing it instead of taking it out, so. The fight,
It's just a very.
it's irritating. Exactly, yeah. Do you really get like yellow jasmine in this area? Pepper. How many people here online? I think zero. Zero, okay.
But we'll record it, we can use it, put it on the. Yeah, YouTube.
Oh my gosh, it's easy to forget. But to watch my words here. Okay, should I still you change slide or?
Yeah, I'll just do it present.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, my name is Garrett. I'm the new honeybee sales specialist for the entire state. I'm really excited to be here. I've been in this position for 2 months, so I'm adjusted to Texas. I am working on my accent, so give me a few months and hopefully I can start saying y'all and say act, say hey. So I'm working on it. So, but I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really surprised that Texas never had a honeybee extension program. Just considering that Texas is, third or fourth most honey producers in the country, they have thousands and thousands of beekeepers. So I'm really excited here to kind of build this program from the ground up because we've never had any bee extension specialists. And so what that means is I'm sort of a saber appointment. I'm here to support you as a beekeeper. So if you have any questions or any programming or anything you need from me, please let me know. So whether that's any mosquito spray damage or any specific research you want, that's why I'm here for, is supporting you guys as a group. And so first a little bit about myself. So I'm from Southwest North Dakota. How many people have ever been to North Dakota? You have? 5. Oh, you're 5? Okay. Yeah, it's a really beautiful fun state except for the winter. So go during the summertime when it's 85 degrees. Don't go during the winter time. But it's a really beautiful state. But one thing about North Dakota is it's sort of the #1 state for beekeepers. And so a lot of beekeepers across the country go to the Midwest for honey production. And so every single year, about 800 to 900,000 colonies go to North Dakota just for honey production. And that actually outnumbers the people in the entire state. And so it's actually really amazing. And so I'm from a small county, and there's not many people in there, maybe 1,000 people, but we had about 5 commercial beekeepers just in my small county. And that includes my uncle. So my uncle managed 10,000 colonies. And so I kind of grew up around beekeeping, especially on a commercial level, my entire life. And so this is actually a picture of some of my colonies in Southwest North Dakota in this beautiful field of sweet clover. And if you've ever had sweet clover honey, it's the best honey. It's like clear and sweet. It's a perfect honey. And so you can picture my 120 colonies. Next slide. And so just like a commercial beekeeper, my colonies also migrated across the entire country. And so we actually have our bees in East Texas and near Marshall, Texas. So if you know where that's at, it's kind of near the Louisiana border, near Shreveport. And so what we do is we bring our bees to East Texas, we split them in half, produce queens, and get them ready for honey production. We ship our bees up to North Dakota for honey production. They produce maybe 100 to 200 pounds per colony, and then we ship our bees to California for pollination. So primarily almond pollination, but we did a little bit of apple and orange pollination. And so our bees were kind of shipped there, and then once the process was finished, we ship our bees back to Texas. And so I had a really great experience growing with beekeepers, learning about beekeeping in different regions, such as the Midwest, but also learning about beekeeping in Texas and also California. Next slide.
How many, when you say none of these days, how many are we?
Like right now?
Yeah, we are.
Oh yeah, so this person had about 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I have my personal policies, it's my personal, I have about 100 colonies or so, but he had. That's
Only one bird box center.
Yep, it's one box, so one box would be a call. We typically palletize them, so we have 4 colonies per pallet. And we basically just put them on the truck and then ship them to different parts of the country.
Yeah, I know. The company down here, they send all the, buckwheat or,
It's made for the wildflowers, it's a lot of ranch land in it, so you have sweet clover, you have alfalfa. You have a little bit of buckwheat, canola is the big things, there's a lot of canola, sunflowers. And so there's a lot of those agricultural crops that these produce honey from.
yeah, I was, I was, this, yeah, one. So, I think it's.
Oh, in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, I shed. Yeah, who was it?
I can't. Okay. It's better than.
Yeah, a lot of people are like just those overwintered sheds, but they overwinter the giant sheds. It's pretty cool to see. So, but it's really expensive to build them. Yeah. But yeah, so you probably wondering why did I become a beekeeper? One, it's really hard to, manage 10,000 colonies. I want to save my back, bending back up and down. But really the major reason was I started seeing beekeepers experience really high colony losses. And so who in here were keeping bees before 2006? Only you? Okay. So before 2006, beekeeping was a lot easier, wasn't it? It was, yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you put boxes on, you go fishing for 3 months, and then you come back and there you go, Yep. But then, right when I started beekeeping, really, like when I became like 14 or so, beekeepers started experiencing high losses, and we call them colony collapse disorder. And so we all probably heard of colony collapse disorder or kind of aware of it. And this is just a term that they gave to it, like we don't know, like bees are dying, but we don't know why they're dying. So what's it's called colony collapse disorder. And so bees are just dying at extremely high rates. I mean, 50 to 80%. And so this particular beekeeper I worked with, he lost 80% of his colonies this November when we were getting the bees ready to ship to California. Now, 80% for anyway is high, but when you have, 10,000 to 20,000 colonies, 80% is a massive number. And this is also their business, right? So that hurts their business, hurts their bottom line. And, these are family-owned businesses too. So a lot of them kind of lost their businesses, got the beekeeping because of it. And so this is actually a picture of my bees. I just have thousands of dead bees coming out of the colony. And we had no reason why, we had no idea why. And so I really decided to focus my career on research and extension and try to help beekeepers across the entire country. At the time, in 2005, we didn't have many bee researchers. I don't think A&M even had researchers at the time, if we're really on that. Honeybee extension specialists, that wasn't really a thing. We see them across the country now because of what happened, but we didn't really have any support. We had nobody to turn to. We had nobody really to research with to really try to find a problem. And so, that's why I came in to see if I can kind of fill that role and support beekeepers across the country. Next slide. And so a little bit about my extension background. So when I got my master's degree at Northport State University, and then after that, I worked at a nonprofit called Beekeepers Partnership. So how many people here have heard of the Beekeepers Partnership or BIP? Do you have?
It's called
The Beekeepers Partnership. For example. Well, so they actually went bankrupt last year, but it was a nonprofit organization, and the goal was to help support beekeepers across the country. And so they had sort of 2 arms. One was to support the small scale beekeepers, and so they actually ran an annual survey to see what the pollen losses were, was causing pollen losses across the state. They had a program where they actually sent sampling kits to the small scale beekeepers across the country, and they gave them annual recommendations. And then their second arm was focused on the commercial industry. And so they actually had tech teams across multiple states. And their goal was to be sort of an extension agent for these commercial beekeepers. If you're in Victoria, you really don't have an extension agent in your county because you go into multiple areas. And so I was a team lead for the University of Minnesota tech team. And so I worked directly with about 30 to 40 beekeepers in the Midwest and in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. There was a team in Texas A&M, the Texas Advancement Team. And so we worked really close with them because a lot of the Texas beekeepers went to the Dakotas and a lot of Dakota beekeepers went to Texas. So I spent a lot of time in Texas working with beekeepers. So every year it comes to Texas in January to March and work with the queen producers and the queen breeders, and really the goal was to help breed for resistant traits to grow up, breed for resistant viruses, and really help them produce healthier, more productive queens. So even though it's based in Minnesota, I spent a lot of time in this Texas area. Actually, I spent a lot of time in the Beekeepers area, about beekeepers in that area, possibly the panel. Next slide. And so one of my major goals was technology transfer. And so when we think about beekeeper, our goal is to help beekeepers reduce colony losses. And so my goal was to take this technology and information and apply it to help beekeepers reduce colony losses. And so how many beekeepers here have lots of colonies already? One person? You?
No.
Get in there? Okay. Yeah.
Spray.
Yeah. So some people probably lost colonies in the past, right? It's already okay. So why do your bees die? Can you say about the reason why your bees may have died?
Okay, look. Spray is synthetic. Nerve synthetic by reason. I can one at 4 months space east, 4 space south, whole 4 south. They come in a spinner, there's big pile. All 4 together.
You see the tongue sticking out with the sign of the.
Yeah. I would, I'm applying it, walked off in 5 days, but what's funny, for that, right, nothing happened. But it was after the spray.
Yeah,
So I covered everything. It's great.
yeah, different types of pretty toxic to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really can be much time to notice. It's kind of flying.
But they have 22 days of the spray.
Yeah.
That's where. So I covered them. And I always tell the city. He said, this is the gold standard for mosquitoes, but it's because of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah, so spray damage, especially in these areas. Right?
And as a spray, yeah. He foliated the soybeans before they picked them. I did that.
Oh, it's huge, yeah. Some of the two different leaders see bells for growing forms for that, right?
Yeah.
You know, that wax kind of foliate, so it's all that stuff. And it stays in that wax for years, decades sometimes.
Yeah, I tried keeping bees in, there's a soybeans. And it was in a soybean field, but there was like cotton and other stuff around there. And it was like a slow drop off over 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
That stuff they spray those way, those full breathing mass and the sparkles. That's
My city sprays every morning. They spray every morning from like February to like the end of October. And I've had hives right on the edge of the road where they spray. They use that stuff that degrades in the atmosphere, it degrades the water.
But here's,
It never hurts it.
Yeah.
it's already living this little tablet incorporated in the city now. And since 3 years ago, they changed that spray, and since then, it's improved. I think that half-life is poisoning insects. And the birds eat them, they can't reproduce if they die. You know, we said mockingbirds, hotel crabs, all the county yard would be all over. There's no insects harming.
I mean, unfortunately for bees, when they're managed, we can,
Yeah.
native pollination, all things that.
All the birds used to see, even now frozen food in it, even hawks would stay in there while they're gone. So, it's really the last 3 years I did it. Yeah, I got sensitive after the kill. And I saw a bird.
What town are you in?
I'm in Bel Air.
In Bel Air.
Yeah. But I mean, I was mowing the yard, I was black, photo crab, they fly in from mockingbirds, no hoarding doves, they're all. Doves.
That's that in my neighborhood. I'm near Jersey Village across.
Yeah, that's funny. Houston sprays where we spray. But I think whoever's mixing concentrates, probably got some kid out of high school thinking they can throw it out for the can.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. It's actually less like we always put that after this, that they fix.
Yeah, they have that animal. Efficiency, it's bad.
That's
It's pretty much.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I try to tell the city that.
Yeah.
I give this to them, sure, half of it, they're expensive. So,
hive helps.
Yeah, because, you know, because the city said, well, shouldn't be killing the bees, they're not outside at night. They said, when it's 100 degrees out there,
Yeah.
gotta keep your temperature good. So, yeah, I put tarps over it at night, so it gets dark. And I don't suffer it.
But the problem is, you may know, this will be the plan, at least 24 hours, you know. And you,
Yeah.
you can cover,
Well, it's,
you can't even cover the target.
no, it's, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
it kills the mosquito on contact. A lot of mosquitoes live in the bushes, they don't kill, but I think the days is insects get it. I think it's still kills bees.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it, yeah. Were you-
A question.
Yeah, we have adjusted that. I think just like in the Houston area, San Antonio, all these areas have been hit by these mosquitoes, the mosquito bait. So it's something that we definitely have a conversation about. So. Okay, so spraying is one reason why bees die. Any other reason why your bees may have died this year? Perfect. Okay, bromide. Yep, number one. Anything else?
Actually, I saw, you know, we're real rainy at first, it wasn't much forward in the event. And I looked into it, gosh, it's like they eat all the food they bring. We're hard to put it.
Yeah. So kind of like nutrition, right? So
Yes, the weather, because they were like the drought. Then I think 80%.
Yeah.
With water, water. So there's hardly any money in my.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's already this year. Yeah.
And then it got droughty for.
Yeah. But yeah, but when it was interesting, I've been speaking to like 10, 12 groups so far, and a lot of them say like maximum, small pain, high people, that's why you beat die this year. And it's not the reason, right? Those are like secondary. Usually they die to the throw up, the viruses, something spray damage, and then you start seeing wax pump, small hype. And so you as a beekeeper, I mean, and one of my goals of extension is to educate more about growth management and how to deal with growth, because that's the number one reason why bees die. That's something that beekeepers have to be aware of and monitor for. And so, you know, that's something I'm working with and something we worked on, because in Texas, it's really hard to manage growth because there's so many different treatment options, but a lot of them are heat specific, and you can't apply them when they're above 87 degrees. Well, I've only been in Texas a short period of time, but it's still 87 at least like 7 months out of the year. So you don't have many treatment options, right? So one of my goals is to develop an idea plan and a strategy for beekeepers, because the best way to manage growth is to be more proactive and taking care of it early in the season before it gets to down. And if your growth levels are really high, you're kind of in a pickle and you don't have any options. So, but yeah, let's get back to technology transfer. So these are kind of the major challenges and reasons why bees die. Number one is growth. There's small parasitic mites that feed on the bees, transmit these deadly viruses and pathogens. And we know it. There's like 1 or 3 mites per 100 bees or in your colony. They're like they can crash the season. And so grow up is number one reason why bees die. Number 2 are the viruses. So bees have about 10 to 20 virulent viruses. We actually discovered a new virus that is almost even more virulent than the former wing virus. And so not only do we have these old viruses, we have these new and emergent viruses that beekeepers will deal with in the future. And so, grow are the number one challenge, but the viruses are really what's causing multi-losses. It's a grower for the immune system. But what's really happening is they're transmitting these viruses, and that's what's driving the multi-losses. So the best way to keep your colonies healthy, dry, productive is to make sure you manage grow levels. So not only their levels, but your virus levels are also different. Number 3 are the pathogens. So everything I've seen like European valve root. Hopefully nobody's ever seen American valve root. Nobody has. Okay, that's awesome. So but there are certain pathogens that you as a beekeeper has to deal with, and they're probably queen fertility. So the most important bee in the colony is the queen. She lays the eggs, she's reproductive, and so something happens to the queen that can, cause your colony to become queenless. It causes them to have laying workers or other issues. So taking care of the queen is important. But we're seeing for beekeepers that queens are failing at a high rate. So they should be living for 4 years, but they're failing at 6 months. We're seeing some queen issues also. And so we think about all these different challenges. I mean, as a beekeeper, this can be really overwhelming. Whether you're a first beekeeper or you're 20-year beekeeper, it can be really overwhelming. And so my goal as an extension person and as an extension program is to develop this technology to help beekeepers address these issues. So number one is basically knowledge and training. So with Burla, the goal is to educate and provide beekeepers resources on how to manage varroa in the South. There's a lot of really great resources out there. They're really mostly in the Midwest. We really need varroa management information and guides for the Southern region because it is totally different than any other part of the United States. And so one major goal is to provide knowledge to address these major challenges. Number two are different tools. And so let's kind of focus on breeding, queen production. So how can we help beekeepers breed for bees that are resistant to varroa, viruses, and some of these other challenges? And because if we can help them breed for better bees, then you as a beekeeper can purchase those bees. And so, what's interesting with the bee industry is the beekeepers in charge of honey production, pollination, queen production. So they're in charge of all these different factors, right? Whereas if you look at other industries, you have dedicated breeders, you have dedicated, producers for certain crops. And so one of my goals is to help them breed for varroa resistance, BSH, and some of these other traits. And so developing a tool that can support these breeders. And then finally, technology. So does anybody know what IPM stands for? Perfect, integrated pest management, right? So this is going to be a major challenge for the beekeeping community because we're seeing that Hemitrax, we're seeing resistance to varroa, and some of these other treatments for varroa, we can see more resistance in the future. And so the goal is to kind of cycle your treatment regimen so you can better target varroa bites. And so the goal is to develop marketing strategies for beekeepers so we can help you better manage varroa, keep your colonies healthy, thriving. And so really my goal is extension is technology transfer, providing beekeepers information, tools, and technology to address why bees die. Next slide. And so to kind of show you the results of this technology transfer approach. So like I mentioned, I was part of the Midwest Tech Management team. So I worked directly with about 30, 40 beekeepers. And so you kind of view me as an extension agent at times. So I travel with the beekeepers from Texas to North Dakota to California. I sample their colonies and provide recommendations on better manage colonies or maybe make some modifications. And so some beekeepers I worked with for about 3 to 4 years. I become kind of a therapist to some of them. They give me phone calls, their bee died, and I'd be on the phone with them for a couple hours. So I wasn't only an extension agent, but still a therapist for beekeepers. But yeah, so the beekeepers program for about 3 years under the blue. So these are people that I worked directly with for about 3 years. So I'm conversation with them about IPM strategies, do training with beekeepers, and I compare the beekeepers that are new to the program. So maybe they joined the program because they had high point losses or they wanted some more support. And so my goal with technology transfer was sort of twofold. One was to help them better manage varroa, because that's the reason why bees die. And then number two is just overall reduce colony losses. Now, if we look at this chart, this is actually a beekeeper in Texas, and it might be kind of hard to see on this, but the red line is the varroa threshold. So one thing we recommend to beekeepers is to make sure your varroa levels are less than 3 mites per 100 bees. And so that's that red line. Now, the first thing you notice here is the beekeepers that are part of the program, the technology transfer program, for about 3 years, they were below the threshold from May all the way to November. So their varroa level actually never got above that threshold. And they're also lower than the beekeepers in the program. But what's one thing that you notice about this? Like, why do you think their varroa levels are lower and below threshold throughout months? Active management? Yeah.
Experience.
Experience, yeah. Yeah, so those all kind of combine to one thing. So if you look at in May, the main reason is because they're proactive, they're experienced, and they had a plan. And their varroa levels are, less than 1 mite per 100 bees in May, versus the beekeepers in orange. They nearly had 2 mites per 100 bees in May. Now, if you look at this, that little threshold, it seems low, but they're pretty high in May. And if they're that high, they're only going to exponentially grow and explode. And so as you see, they really exploded on August, September. So even though they were low threshold in September, they exploded in August, September. They got to a level where they're just uncontrollable. Some of the beekeepers have 20 to 30 mites per 100 bees. And once you get to that level, there's not much you can do. You have viruses in your colonies, there's not many treatment options, and you're kind of, SOL, really. And so the beekeepers that were able to better manage varroa were more proactive. They did more breaks in spring. They did better IPM strategies. And, you can see that they're able to keep their growth levels low and manage it more effectively. So these beakers did a really great job of it. So this all comes down to IP strategies, but more importantly, being proactive about it. Because in Texas, if your mite levels get really high in August, September, your only option is April, right? You can't use formic acid, you can't use, slime, you can't use these specific treatments, which are the ones that are really effective against this. And so you have to be really proactive and make sure your mite levels are low early in the season. And it's all coming back to calling losses. The beekeepers that were in the program for 3 years, we had 25% losses compared to 40%, which is massive. And so for you as a beekeeper, if you have 2 colonies, I mean, that's the base save your 1 colony. So just being proactive is one thing I really like to stress, having a plan before the season starts. And so, I personally developed this plan early in the season, by March, and be proactive about it. Next slide. Okay, so that's how my extension background is my goals. So I'll talk a little bit more about the overall extension program. So I'm the new honeybee extension specialist. And so extension means my goal is to provide education, support to beekeepers, but it also includes a little bit of research. So extension is a mixture between education and research. And so, my goal is to provide extension and education support across the state, but also to conduct research. And so I'm located in Overton, Texas. So if you know where Tyler, Texas is, it's about 20 minutes east of Tyler, Texas. And so we have a Texas A&M Agriculture Research and Extension Center up there. And so they put me in East Texas mainly because there's a lot of beekeepers in East Texas, and a lot of commercial beekeepers in Texas. And so my role is 100% extension. That also includes like 25% research. 2, I have a statewide responsibility. So even though I'm located in Overton, I'm responsible for the program across the entire state. I mean, I develop program goals, talk to beekeepers about what you guys are looking for, what you want me to develop. And then, finally, I manage the entire extension program. To the next slide. So by the next few months, the extension program is going to be full. So I'll be charging with our program. We're hiring program specialists in Houston. So we're going to have a person in Missouri County. We have a person in Fort Worth and then a person in San Antonio. And so once we hire this person in the Houston area, they'll be in charge of providing honeybee extension support for this wider Houston metropolitan area. And so I'm hoping at some point they can come here and speak to you all when they get hired, but I'm hoping to have that person hired by November 1st. And so they'll be sort of the person that you will refer to talk to and talk to you about like the issues you're having with pesticide spray or any issues you're having with your beekeeping practices or any type of webinar or you want. This will be the first point of contact. And so we'll have the person hired in November 1st. But like I said, this is a brand new extension program, so this can go so many different directions. So, if you have any ideas or anything you want to see in the program, please let me know. I can start making a list and, giving that to a new person. But once they're hired, I'm hoping they kind of make the rounds, go to all the clubs and all the beekeepers in this area, kind of talk to you all. Next slide. And so what's really great with the extension program is, Texas is really great because they have 254 counties, but they have an extension agent in every single county. And so, I would say right employment and obviously we'll have a person in the Houston area, but there's no way I can reach the entire state of Texas. And so one of my major goals is to work with extension agents, provide them information they provide with beekeepers, but also to provide them training, beekeeping and talent that beekeeper space. So how many beekeepers here know your extension agent? You do?
Yeah, it's useless. Oh, what? No, say all that. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so I mean, I try to kind of reach out to them and say we want these programs. If you have a lot of beekeepers that are reaching out to this person, then we'll be kind of forced to take action, right? And so, if there's anything you guys need, I would contact your extension agent and get to know them, and maybe have beekeepers kind of flood their email and say we need programs, we need this support, or we need help because there's only so much I can do for the entire state, and so the goal is to help create county agents so they can help support this specific county. And so if you have issues with mosquito spray or mosquito abatement and you see a lot of losses, that's a person we can contact, or you guys can contact to find how can we get information, how can people contact us, and how can we get training. So
are these extension agents for state?
they're the county employees. Yeah.
So you just try to-
Exactly. Yep. And so, yeah, so each county has a county agent, they're funded by the county, and so, you know, you're, say, Grimes County?
No, there's
Oh, you're in Adams County.
So they got one guy for Harris County for all 6 million people.
It's crazy, yeah, I just,
Because they got one in, I'm in Chambers County. We have 40,000 people in the whole county.
yeah,
so the county is about 50,000, like, all that stuff.
yeah, there's only one, I've state for 28, which is really surprising, so. But you know, if he can't afford you, maybe there's another county outside of Harris County, like, it doesn't have to be specific to your county, it's find a county agent that can help support you, so. But yeah, it's crazy, Harris County only has one, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, and if that person, if they're, you know, not reaching out to you and not providing support, you can just reach out to me and I can find somebody else that can support you. So, you know, so like I'm a resource and I can kind of poke them in the ear and give them the right direction.
Okay.
Next slide. Okay, so that's kind of part where we have just a general discussion about what you put the program, extension program look for, right? So we're gonna hire a person, and obviously we might have like a board of beekeepers who can help me hire this person. So, you know, I mean, you'll probably be involved, but we really want your input about what the extension programs are look for. So, you know, you as a beekeeper, whether you're a first year beekeeper, whether you have 20 years experience, like what do you want to see from this new extension program? You know, because if I can get feedback and start developing a program for what it looks like for you guys.
What's the most successful extension programs already? Is there one?
Yeah, so University of Florida has a really fantastic program. You know, Jamie's been there since 2005, and they do a lot of really great things, a lot of really great resources. So they're really good. University of California has a really great program. So, you know, some of these programs have been around for a very long time, and so they've had time to develop, you know, things. So, but University of Florida is probably the gold standard in my mind.
Okay.
That's where half the Texas Master Beekeeper stuff links to was Florida.
All the information is Florida. Yeah.
Like when you're doing you have to do the modules for the advanced level, and it's all stuff on the University of Florida's website.
It's gonna change next year, so we're working on that.
Oh,
You know,
good.
to make more Texas.
That one's useless too.
Oh, yeah. Anything else you guys are looking for?
I mean, like the main thing I've seen for new beekeepers is just education, like some kind of formal structured education to get them started.
Yeah.
You know, focus on the key stuff like burrow management. Half of our members, their first year of their hot dies because the burrow.
Yeah, bro, I first got into the treatment thing because we're in Texas, and I mean, like to say, it could be freezing the next day to 7 degrees. Treat bro.
Yeah, I've had a few people that tried to treat their hives with formic acid in the middle of summer.
Yeah, but
They killed their hive.
usually give it a nice agent and say, here's what you do with Harris County. So,
Yeah.
you know, because I had no bunch of research, I knew that's what I thought I was on these guys.
Yeah, stuff that's local.
And I have to, so I just have to, I mean, I saw what they're doing this. And use it.
Yeah, like every time we have new beekeepers and ask, you know, what I need to do. Or we'll get guys, as people that get on the Facebook page and they'll ask, hey, I want to get bees next year, what I need to do. You know, you always tell them to read a book, but then you always have to tell them, hey, read the book, you know, Beekeeper for Dummies, but just remember it's written by Yankees, so everything's different down here.
You know, it is. And like I said, most of the resources are based in the Midwest, but it's so different than Texas.
Yeah.
And so yeah, one thing we're working on is like the Girl Man got for Texas, like I'm gonna be helpful listener.
I mean, it's not just burrow. Like I get questions every year, like, oh my God, it's winter time. Do I need to wrap my hives? Oh,
Yeah.
please God, don't wrap your hives.
Yeah.
You're gonna die from heat
Exactly. Yep.
and stuff like that.
You said Florida has a big program, so our geographic location here to Florida is almost identical weather-wise.
But it can be Victoria.
Florida, you said Florida. So, you know, they have the same temperature range here as there, so would they have a lot of information we could borrow from and use from?
Yeah. So I think it's about great information, but you know, there is differences, right? So like the forward is different than, you know, Florida. Like the pollinators, or when there's a dirt, it's going to be different in Florida. Like some of the growth management might be a little similar, but it's going to be a little different here in Texas. And also, like Texas is a really huge state,
Right.
and so when you do West Texas, East Texas versus
I'm just thinking more specifically Houston area and.
Yeah, Yeah, so in the meantime, while we develop these resources, go to University of Florida, a lot of really great resources and you can find stuff there. Yeah, some of the content you said is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, their food is very, very different. They have citrus and Brazilian peppers and all this weird stuff. And then they have a lot of areas in Florida that never freeze when you start getting into the peninsula part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it is pretty. And then, like you said, Houston, Rice Keys in Del Rio, oh God, it's totally different than here.
Yeah.
But we're the same zone as the northern part of here.
Yeah, we're the same growing zone, but everything's different.
The different eco regions.
Yeah.
So the growing zone is similar to the eco region.
But what I think is strange in Texas, and I didn't know this for years because I'm a transplant, that Houston is so humid compared to, you go to San Antonio or Austin, and then it's all dry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's actually, Texas is like 7 ecoregions.
Something.
Like we're in the Gulf Coast prairies and then all this beautiful, but like San Antonio is, I forget what San Antonio is. And they have like the cross timber areas around San Angelo and they have,
Plateau. So in San Antonio, it's 4 different ones. We're in San Antonio.
yeah. So, yeah, and then all the plant life is different, all the seasons are different, everything's different.
Yeah, and you're kind of like plan for it with the NASA website. So one thing I want to do is do sort of a citizen science effort and collect pollen from. I mean, my goal is to do Episcopal County. It'd be cool to see what's foraging, what bees are collecting in Episcopal County. So we can kind of develop a foraging map, like a more accurate foraging. And so I think NASA website is really great. That would make it more accurate of what bees are actually bringing in. Kind of figure out when are the birds and give bees more information. So here in one region, when's the dirt? Like, when do you expect it to have to be? Like it's on a NASA website, right?
Yeah, it's like a good art or something or other.
Yeah, I feel like NASA honeybees, they have covered this. It's very outdated. I don't think it's updated since 2008.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while, but it's still useful.
It's really useful. Yeah.
I was going to stretch it. I got on. It was okay.
Yeah.
But it's really old cabin.
Yeah, so we can do that, yeah. But it's not as accurate as fallen, right? Like I could think of math from you guys all and see like what's supposed to be in your county, but we don't know what bees are foraging on and stuff.
I always think we're different because we're in the city and like great vehicles, flowers, but you just go 10 miles south and the farm, but it has 200 loads, but we
Exactly.
different.
Yeah. Well, that's why the main word about too with the great vehicles because the equal fast for there's great vehicles too. So it's another great vehicles.
I consider 10 miles in the country.
For sure.
Sorry, I can tell a huge difference just from talking to beekeepers here, because I keep mine kind of out in the country.
Yeah.
Like I don't do any forage at all in the summertime. We're in the city that likes to do some stuff.
I mean, I'd say the last year, after the drought was over, they harvested second of December. So I planted it. I made nothing.
Yeah.
It was so.
Yeah, so anything else you guys are all looking for? Like what's like resource or anything? Obviously we are beekeeping with workforces and kind of work with this group, which are the focus specialists and have those things in place. We do beginner courses, see more advanced and contamination courses eventually. So I think there's a lot of potential to do each of the courses you guys are interested in. So
anyway, Amazon church. Becomes to do a course it's like one here in your backyard. Yes.
yeah.
What's really, maybe the mentorship opportunities. I know we have that opportunity associated.
Does you club have maybe your session where
Yeah, we have a mentorship program, but it's we're short on mentors.
sure.
So it's like every mentor has 5 mentees and they're spread out.
Yeah,
Like they go from Sealy to my house in Mount Hope.
sure.
I've had mentees that 45-minute drive from to get to their house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what they always do with the master beekeeping program is have like team up with the clubs and apiary sessions where like once a month, like during what they have, it's a session where bees come and just work with you or work with the beekeeper in the club and actually get the calls because like you said, I can pick up all these resources. I got a YouTube channel, but the best way to learn is to get in the colonies, find a club, and look for the mentor, right?
Yeah, we're actually working on getting a education apiary around here,
Perfect.
but it's hard to the real estate. It's hard to find a location that's convenient for everybody that's,
Yeah,
that we can have these on and, you know, have enough cost to do education with.
yeah. Well, and that's what you do for the person in Missouri County, you have more space for the fee. But
Yeah, it's like we tried to do, because I have yards, I have plenty of yards in East Houston. Nobody wants to drive out there to go learn it. 'Cause it's-
yeah, but you know, maybe we have an extension agent, I think they had some property where they could put fees, and so.
Yeah, if we had a, around
Yeah,
here,
right here is county, yeah,
kind of central to Houston, that would be very helpful.
yeah, you know, that's the first, see if we can do that, but I think he mentioned that there was a place that they could put fees, like right in Harris County. So maybe we can have that set up, and you guys can help manage it and have full sessions.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what if a few calls?
Yeah, yeah, like,
It's 4 or 5, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so we go to the next slide. Let's look at the master beekeeping program. Okay. Yeah, so how many beekeepers here are part of the master beekeeping program? You, okay. Yeah, and you're on this, master. You're working with it. Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, so this program is normally run by the Texas apiary inspectors, and so that's going to fall under the Texas A&M Extension Service. And so this program is now under, I guess, my supervision. And so I have a lot of goals for the program. I'd love to be more like a Master Gardener program, more interactive, and less it's like, hey, here's 4 books and take the exam. So we're going to work on that. You know, I talked about the open apiary sessions. I mean, I'd love all these clubs to have open apiary sessions because really the best way to learn is actually get the colony and find a mentor. One thing we are developing is a Texas Master Beekeeper Handbook. And so this will be specific for beekeeping in the state of Texas. So we're working on that right now for the 22 chapters on all things beekeeping in the state of Texas. And so that'll be a really great resource. That'll be part of the Master Beekeeping program. And so, and also we're going to make an online website where beekeepers can actually register and find information and then communicate with other beekeepers. So right now it's just kind of like email this person. And, I mean, it's also hard for me to track everybody. So we're an online tracking system, but you know, currently you go to the website, it's a free program to join, it doesn't cost anything. Sign up for the email list, then you know, the only cost involved would be the testing. So each level there's testing to go from apprentice to advanced, that costs about $75. But then there's no cost involved with it.
Y'all looked at having more testing locations. I know that's
Yeah.
big problem with that program now is nobody in El Paso wants to drive to College Station to take the test.
Yeah, so once you have the program specialists, you do testing in Houston, right, or Missouri County, or maybe session to do that. So I'm hoping for testing because you know it's in Austin, but like you said, you're West Texas.
Like I haven't got my advanced. It's been like 5 years since I got the apprentice.
Okay.
I haven't got the advanced because every time I've had it's in College Station, I'll like driving up there.
Yeah.
But I got something else to do that before.
Sure.
So,
But you know, you more we can be, you know, we use the club, we could, you know, schedule a special meeting and have something in, you know, Harris County. So I mean, I'm gonna go and do more tests. You know, I'm guessing like the board wants to have it in the meeting, but that's not for everybody. It's also cool. So yeah. So yeah, so maybe we talk more about having some testing in maybe springtime just for the Houston area beekeepers. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I guess you guys are part of the Master Beekeeping program. What would you want to see change to the program?
The first step
Yeah, there's anything like good portion.
is advanced level.
No, but the public service experience, you get to do service experience. It through or the public schools.
Like being area of the
or vice president.
but ways.
Yeah.
The time that
Yeah, so let's look at that. State program, an online they can register.
I did have Zoom for payment from Zoom meeting.
Yep, you know, it when it comes to questions to beekeeper, you might good job on. So we're trying to have that become. So I definitely don't need a lot of questions to service credit qualified for using either yes, it's down. So But yeah, just go to like masterbeekeeper.com, type it in, you can find it. So, but yeah, hopefully by the end of the year, share more information, it'd be easier for you to register, submit the service credits, submit all your information. But yeah, if you join us at apprentice level, though, after 2 years, you can do the written exam, practical exam. So written exam is, like 50 questions, and then there's a practical exam. So you actually go out to the colony, we see people to the colony, identify different fruit or bees, and so on. So, but yeah, we're open to add to that apprentice level, like a department to the beekeeping 101 course or some kind of introduction beekeeper course. Because I think a lot of people that go into beekeeping, master beekeeping program, is they want to get into beekeeping, but it doesn't really provide that in-field beekeeping 101, which is really what's. So, yeah, I'll kind of stop there, but if you have any questions or any comments about the master beekeeping program or any additions, I'm happy to answer those.
How many master beekeepers are great for Texas?
Actually, you got your master beekeeper, I think there's 10 or 12.
Oh, wow.
And we have one master class. Yep. So it's really not many. Yeah, I think a lot of beekeepers stop at the apprentice level and then they don't go further because it's really hard. Like it's almost it's too different.
Like I started doing the course modules for the advanced one and I was like, this is not beneficial to me in my beekeeping. And like they're a big part of African out bees.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
That's help with the beekeeping.
That's totally yeah. And for the first level, I mean, like I took the exam. I was like, oh, this is like really hard for the first year beekeeping.
Yeah.
Like it's way too hard.
And then I've been keeping bees for 15 years, so like I just want to test out. I don't want to do all like extra crap. Yeah, I'll do the public service credits, but
Beekeeping really has a goal. I mean, the goal is for, if you're a new beekeeper, to educate them, but once you become a better mentor, right? So we shouldn't add too much stress on the things that are less relevant. And so you're already doing all this here, effort, so.
yeah,
Like for you probably that's the point.
yeah, that's why I haven't got the advanced. I'm doing one day though.
But we're working on it, so yeah. So I mean, hopefully make more interactive and add like the infield portion of it and just making more of a community. I think a lot of people get beekeeping because they like the community part of it, and that's what we really need to grow. And I think the Magic Garden has done a really great job of building that community, build that volunteer, and that's really seen in the county level because the county invests back into the program. So I think we can improve the program a lot and make it more fun and interactive for beekeepers. Next slide. Yeah, we stopped there. The other thing I want to mention is, we're working on developing junior master beekeeping programs, so that kids centered. And so they'll be kind of targeted at FA and 4-H because we really need to educate the young kids about beekeeping with small. So that's one thing we're working on. So hopefully next couple of years, develop that junior master beekeeping program. The last thing we'll cover is, one thing I really want to do is understand the value of beekeeping in the state of Texas. And so, we really need to understand like how many beekeepers are on the state, like how much money beekeepers are making, support that to the state to get more investment into the beekeeping industry. And so we have this problem with the livestock industries, both on the good impacts for the beekeeping industry. And so one thing we're going to start launching is surveys to evaluate the beekeeping industry days. As we look at just the USDA DAS survey, and granted they only survey beekeepers at about 5 colonies, but they probably survey just a really large number of beekeepers. But if we look at just them, the value of beekeeping in Texas is number 3 in the entire country. So it's extremely valuable state. And the value that beekeeping in Texas provides is there massive. It's includes not only honey production, but nation. And so sometimes they flip the flop with California. So some years are number 2. And so what we need to do is really use this data, collect data, promote it. Days. That thing's a really valuable industry, but we're not really voting as we should.
I have a question. Texas started that. I can't remember your 89. So do all the other states have?
The one about Florida, I think another state has the agricultural environment. Maybe California does.
So I think drive to that to see the bees out in the field.
Yeah.
I was just I drove across there. I didn't see one field thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wondered, it's not that.
That's really unique. Yeah.
That exploded.
That's what I make with lumber.
Yeah.
It's like 10 times as much money as I made.
Yeah.
for something.
Yep.
Happens. The states of that, too, that,
Yeah.
Well, no, most states don't,
I know they don't, I just don't get,
I would say it's ridiculous.
yeah.
Their property tax rates aren't near as high.
We don't know. It's right. States that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there could be some more missing, but I know Texas Florida.
That's.
One of those properties I keep these on, they say $70,000 a year on that property.
What?
It's property taxes.
Yeah, I said that six.
Yeah.
Small area. But, 5% of my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the small, I got it some on like 6 acres and they say $3,000-4,000 every year.
Get by them.
Yeah. What was the last slide? I was checking this part out. Yep, go on.
Which one?
Yep, sorry, you passed it. Get that one. Yeah, so here's all my information. So we have a Facebook page, with text data, essentially agriculture program, scanning QR code. That's our Facebook page. And so we're currently working on a website and listers. We can get that with Beekeepers. But in the meantime, here's my information, it's my phone number and email address. So if you do want to reach out to me, feel free to contact me and chat on the phone or chat on an email. If you've ever been over to the area, you want to check out the new bee lab. So we have a whole bee lab, an extraction processing system, and a bunch of colonies for a breeding program, research and dissemination, and have a breeding program that breeds Texas specific bees. And so if you want to come check out the facility, feel free to come by.
Oh, that'd be cool to have a class on that's one thing we can't get in Texas is the artificial instrumental insemination classes.
Yeah.
Sue Covey used to come down once a year. She doesn't do it anymore.
Well, we do that. Yes, we have 2 2007 set that up.
I bought set 2 years ago.
Yep.
I haven't actually done it, so I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, I can do it and my technician can do it. So if you guys want to have a course, I'm happy to come down and do something like that.
That'd be cool.
And so, but we also,
Instrumental insemination. For Queens.
yeah. And so we actually have crop preservation up there. So one of my goals is to do the breeding program, crop preserve all that sperm, and then beekeepers want apple genetics or PSA genetics or both genetics. We can ship you the sperm, and you can have those baseline genetics. You know, so that's kind of my goal, to build kind of a breeding co-op in a way. That is really the best way. We do all the work for breeding and then distribute those stocks to beekeepers across the state.
That's cool.
So basically, what the name of the breeding program. Bone start wings.
I mean, that's how all the Queens I eat are all hold on Queens.
Yep.
I get them from
Well, that's good, yeah.
I get them from the original, the bee farm. He's on the original program, so
In Baton Rouge.
yeah. I get them out of Jennings, but yeah. Same
Okay,
thing.
yeah. Or Jennings, yeah. He does a great job. Yeah, and so.
It's like that or. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can put that. Yeah, I can put it on Facebook. We have like 3,000 or 4,000 members on the Facebook page. Nobody comes to meetings, but they all get on the Facebook.
Well, and so Chris is also part of the administrative department. Get process stage, we have a 12 person part of it. And so she's been helping us figure out what we're that program. So if you have any like ground or ideas that you want, the kind of let their know she can read it. So I think we have like the first, second week of October is pretty soon. So perfect, yeah. So any other type of extension program where you're looking for and I can do this support, for sure. Yes.
So the problem I have, I've just done it for a year and a half. I have a lay-in sign. And it originally, that's the long horizontal line,
Oh, the top right one.
kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
But, that's what I feel like. I'm making mashed potatoes and everybody else is making rice. It's so much. I belong to 3 bee clubs. One club, 2 people have lay-ins, but it's like, I don't have any information. I just went to a seminar last week in Missouri not Missouri.
Oh, I wasn't.
Oh, fabulous. The logistics a nightmare, but the class fabulous. I got lost in there and I didn't have GPS. I didn't see a house. It was amazing. But anyways, so anyways, I have difficulty knowing what to do and all that jazz, because it just doesn't, and everybody, oh, add a super, take this off, whatever, and I'm like, I don't have super, I don't have any of that.
That sounds good. You know, what, I'm shooting email, like, add that to my list. I think it makes sense that, beekeepers beekeep different ways, right? They don't all use the same
Yeah.
things for pollen. So,
I don't know if anybody else keeps the layers, but I know a lot of people keep top on.
yeah, a lot of,
It's the- they have certain things, things, like,
Yeah, I started off the top bars in like 86, so. I know some people like that guy that came and talked Bishop, we talked about top bars a couple months ago, he's been keeping them for years.
Yes. We'll talk about their black box. In your research, have you noticed any difference in lights, eye visuals for different packages for everything, in different types of eye?
it's different, like,
Yeah.
I think compared to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of work with different things. Right,
Okay.
I'm not sure there will be a difference. Yeah, I first we talk about small cell size, but we feel to home that small cells, I don't think the efficiency would support that.
I found a research paper on that small cell size, the research paper said it didn't work. There's only one research paper, so,
Yeah, and some of the work that I've been talking to, they didn't know, but I said it didn't work, so it's kind of like,
yeah.
They're going small cell. Get away from the road, because they have land big cell, that what it is.
Yeah, that is, they said the, small cells, couple hatch at the earlier. Who said that? That was,
yeah, they catch it earlier again. Doesn't look like bites, but it can't like reproduce.
but,
Yeah, so we can talk about, if these to build small. But, I'm not sure I could really.
So, pretty good. Foundations.
yeah, you can buy small cell.
Provide this.
Huh?
We tried.
No, I tried natural size and it wouldn't help, so,
Yeah,
where I did foundations for a couple years. Just a huge mess, but
yeah, kind of mentioned.
it didn't seem to make a difference with all lines for me.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's one anecdotal experience, so.
yeah. Well, perfect. Well, thank you for having me and bringing me back. So hope to have that person hired, send them your way and bring it to you to that. So, thank you.
November. Appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
So you have. Well,